Hello everybody, this is Delpha, and we're back in Sunrider Liberation Day Return. The votes have come in, and the winner is, technically, it's split between Ava and Icari. So, that's a thing. I guess, does my vote count? If it does count, then Icari is the winner. Alright, I'll do that. I'll do Icari, and then I'll choose Ava after that. Alright. When I think of covert operations, the first person who comes to my mind is Icari. Not only that, but she's the ship's chief of security. Exactly the kind of expertise we'll need in a situation like this. We're going to recruit Icari. We'll need her technical know-how to figure out how to stop the massacre. Okay, Captain. Come on, she's probably in the mess hall right now. T-minus 63 hours until the Liberation Day massacre, 27 hours until Chigara enters the mine stream. Alright. Hello. Sure enough, Shields found Icari chatting with Kreischer in the mess hall as soon as he entered. The lieutenant too, huh? He pondered whether to bring Kreischer into their plot as well. We're trying to prevent the assassination of the Alliance military leaders, so Kreischer would be more than eager to help out. But on the flip side, I can't risk the lieutenant leaking word of this plot to the Alliance command either. That'll be the first thing a dutiful soldier like her would do, and that'll cause complications for me, since then they'll expect to coordinate a counterintelligence operation to thwart the assassination with the real Kyoto Shields, instantly blowing my cover. For a moment Shields weighed whether he should bring the Alliance into their effort to stop the massacre, but ultimately decided against it. No, the Alliance won't be able to move fast enough, and once the truth comes out that I'm not the real Kyoto Shields, I'd be finished. I'll have to stake my chances on a small covert op. Looks like it'll have to be just Icari. Shields casually walked over to the pair. Well, chatting together again so soon? What's your problem, Cap? Soldier Boy here was just telling me some stories. Heh, got any interesting ones yourself? He leaned in close to Icari and whispered into her ear. Sorry to cut your date short, but I need your help. Date? It's not like Ahem, Lieutenant. I must speak with the Chief of Security about a private matter. Sorry for interrupting your discussion. Not at all, sir. Kreischer, being the perfect soldier she was, stood upright without hesitation and walked out of the mess hall. Captain, talk to you later, mercenary. Oi, what was that about? Is something going on? Shields took a seat next to Icari and leaned into her ear so they could speak in whispers. We've got a problem. It threatens the security of this ship. No, more like the security of the entire galaxy. The Doc and I have discovered our chief engineer is a prototype. Are you for real? I thought those tests came back negative. Sorry, that was just a lie we made to make the prototypes think they've still got us fooled. In reality, Chigara's a spy who's been programmed to assassinate every Alliance military leader gathered at the victory celebration if we successfully liberate Zira. Kind of like the prototype's insurance policy. We've got 3 days to stop her before it's too late. Holy damn. Are you alright? I know you were going through some tough times, right? And Chigara was always the one rooting you on. But for her to turn out like that? Damn, you must be wrecked. Don't worry about me. Alright, just, hang in there, Captain. We'll get through this together. I can't believe her first concern after hearing that is me. I guess Icari's really an old softie after all. In about 20 hours, Chigara will enter the prototype's mine stream during the Battle of Zira. While Chigara's inside the mine stream, the prototype's leader will embed her own consciousness inside Chigara, and then assume control of Chigara in order to carry out the mass assassination. We have to detain Chigara before that, so she never enters the mine stream. Hey, this isn't making any sense here. How do you even know all this? You're pretty much talking to me as if you've seen the future or something. Come on, there's something you're not telling me, isn't there? As expected of Icari, looks like her experience as a mercenary wasn't for nothing. Alright, you're gonna have a tough time believing me, but I really am from the future. Everything I've just laid out, I've experienced firsthand. Chigara will really enter the mine stream in about 20 hours, and she will be mind-controlled by the leader of the prototypes, and she really will assassinate the Alliance top military leaders. Oh man, you really had me going there, Captain. You almost convinced me that poor Chigara really was gonna backstab us all. Jeez, and I even felt sorry for you and all. Icari's grin slowly drained from her face when she saw the light fade from Shields' eyes. Ha! Ha! Holy shit. Icari sat wordlessly, the full gravity of the situation now crushing down on her chest. You really are serious? You, gonna explain to me just how you traveled back in time to tell me all this? Shields pointed to Claude sitting across on the table. She waved back. Teehee! Icari grabbed him by the shoulders and stared into his face. Are you serious? He nodded. I always knew boob rockets were suspicious, but I never would have imagined she was a time traveler. Oh man, suddenly I'm getting the feeling that this is all a weird dream and I'm just about to wake up. Wouldn't that be a thing? I don't suppose you know how Boob Rocket's been travelling through time? You'd have to ask her, because I'm not aware of the details myself. Okay. Icari drew a deep breath of air. Alright, Captain, I'm in. It's been a while since I've got a job this crazy, but oh, don't worry. I've seen some pretty insane shit, so I'm not gonna back out now. I'm your girl for this, Captain. Icari held out her hand. Shields took it. A pleasure hiring you, Miss Idold. I'm afraid I'm a man of modest means, though. Be gentle of this man's life savings. Heh. Captain, for you, I'll do this pro bono. Now, come on. Let's go nab our chief. Before Icari could make another move, the klaxon sounded. Red alert! The Pack fleet has made its move. Ah, hell. Not now. Shit. Change your plans, Captain. Looks like I gotta go. I expect the best from you out there, alright? Once we've whooped some packed ass, I'll come back and deal with the chief. Actually, shit, no time to explain. Don't mention any of this to me during the battle. Of course, confidentiality and all. Now, gotta go. Icari leaped over the table and sprinted towards the hangar. Captain, we best make ourselves scarce. The real you's supposed to be on the bridge. If you get discovered anywhere else during the battle. Alright, let's go. Shields' recollection was coming back. It was about this time when the Pack fleet advanced, choosing to launch a frontal attack using their riders to decimate the Alliance's shield cruisers, so that their battleships could whittle down the Alliance fleet from a distance using laser attacks. Everything was happening exactly as same as before. He heard Ava's voice over the ship's wide intercom. All hands! Battle stations! The Pack fleet is approaching our position! We can't let the crew see you here! Claude opened a maintenance tunnel and crawled inside. In here! Hurry! Despite knowing that another Kyoto shield was no doubt rushing to the bridge right now, he couldn't help but feel like a pathetic coward crawling inside a maintenance tunnel to hide through the battle. No, my place was on the bridge. I have to protect everyone. Finally, his better senses reined in his emotions. No, he just had to leave that up to Icari and the rest of the crew. He wasn't going to protect everyone by marching to the bridge right now. Shield swallowed his pride and crawled into the maintenance shaft. Claude shut the gate, swallowing the two of them in darkness. All Shields could hear was the pounding of his heart. Sweat dripped down his eyebrows, tickling his nose and filling his mouth with the taste of sulfur. In a surreal moment, he heard his own voice over the intercom. All hands, prepare for anti-rider combat! Shortly afterwards, the dull drumbeat of the Sunrider's flak guns echoed through the tunnel. The hull creaked as the shrapnel from intercepted missiles harmlessly bounced off the ship's armour. Every passing moment felt like torture. Shields had grown so accustomed to being in command that the idea of being helpless, trapped inside a hole, churned his stomach. He closed his eyes and prayed that Icari would be safe. He would always be able to see the Phoenix on the battle map. If things got too dicey, he would be able to order her to turn around. But what would the Kyoto shields on the floor of the bridge right now do? Did he even care for her as he did? Suddenly Ava's shrill voice on intercom broke his thoughts. All hands, brace for impact! Shields did his best to grip the walls of the tunnel, but was still thrown completely to the flat on his face, against the massive shockwave. The tunnel bent and fuses burst, covering him with sparks. He knew the sensation. A hit that size could only mean that a packed battleship's quantum torpedo had gotten past their flak net and scored a direct hit. God damn it! What the hell was that buffoon on the bridge doing? He wiped the blood from his lips and pulled himself up. Smoke seeped in from the gate, meaning that the hallway outside was now on fire. Shield cautiously opened the gate by a sliver and peeked outside, only to come face to face with a raging inferno. Ooh. Crewmen pulled flame-retardant hoses from the walls and struggled to put out the fire. Shield spotted a technician lying on the floor nearby, his uniform matted with blood. The fire approached him, threatening to swallow him whole. If I jump out now, I can still save him. I have to do something, but it would mean blowing my cover. Oh, really? Oh, brilliant. Alright, time to save. Alrighty. I guess we should save him. Alright. I'm still the captain of this ship. I can't hide in this hole like a coward, but my crewmen are risking their lives out there. With that, Shields pushed the gate open and left the tunnel. Captain, where are you? I'm not going to let a member of this ship die. Captain! Ignoring Claude's protests, Shields pulled a hose from the wall and battled the flames, which were fast approaching the wounded technician. When Shields finally reached him, he knelt down and checked his vitals. Still alive. Good. Shields hoisted the technician up and carried him towards the other crew. Captain? A deckhand's eyes widened in shock as the captain of the ship emerged from the flames and passed him an unconscious crewman. Make sure you get to the sickbay. That's an order, sailor. The deckhand's training took control, and he snapped to attention. Sir! Shields gritted his teeth. He had to lead the damage control operations here. Without warning, the ship shook again. This time, he heard the sound of mechanical sawing, as if something was cutting through the hull of the ship. What the? Hello? What are you doing here? Suddenly the ceiling gave away, and a hunter drone dropped down, spraying the hull with bullets. Shields barely had time to take cover behind some debris as two crewmen were cut down by bullets before his very eyes. Hunter drones? The hell? Oh. The arrival of the hunter drone triggered another memory. No, he couldn't afford to get distracted here. He had received some instruction about invasion drones during his training, but figured they saw limited practical applications after never encountering one on the field. Indeed, this was the first time he had ever seen them deployed during ship-to-ship operations. Shit, this just makes my life that more complicated. If I don't do something here, that drone's going to massacre everyone on this deck. But right now, I'm totally unarmed. Shields looked around and saw a pistol lying beside a fallen crewman. It would take far more than that to down a mechanized hunter drone, but it was something. Seriously? All these choices! Okay, I think the best option here is to fall back, honestly. No matter how we consider this tactical scenario, a group of crewmen and a captain armed with nothing but pistols were no match for a mechanical hunter drone. Let's perform a tactical retreat. Shields shouted orders to the other crewmen. Everyone, fall back! Find cover! That drone will tear you apart! Sir! Shields and the repair crew quickly fell back, coming to an airlock gate. This should hold the drone back. Once everyone ran through the gate, Shields pounded the close button, dropping an 8-inch thick wall of steel between themselves and the drone. Everyone dropped to their knees in relief. Shields took the opportunity to survey the situation. Any of you have heavy weapons? No, sir. Fire Control C. Reporting for duty. All we have are sidearms. The closest armory is 300 meters from here. Come on, let's go. Just as Shields spoke those words, an ear-shattering explosion shook the airlock. The steel gate dented inwards, as if it had just been pounded by a Titan. Wait, attack on Titan? That's have a Titan. The drone was still armed with an anti-armor cannon. This gate wasn't going to hold it forever. Come on, everyone! Move, move, move! The crewmen and Shields ran as fast as their feet would carry them away from the gate, but it was too late. With another chest-bursting explosion, the reinforced steel gate burst behind them in a massive fireball. Duck and cover! Oh God, go away! Shields slammed the young repairman, who looked flesh out of skull, against the wall, just as the drone sprayed the hull with lead. He looked around. Was this their end? If only they had a grenade or something! Captain! Suddenly he saw Claude running down the hall with an enormous bazooka over her shoulder. Seriously? That's the way! That doesn't sound like a bazooka. That sounds like a pistol. Shields peppered the drone with small arms fire, drawing its attention away from Claude. Claude knelt down to one knee to stabilize the bazooka and took aim. They don't call me boob rockets for nothing! Really? The rocket shot out from the front of the bazooka, the recoil knocking Claude flat on her back, and missed the drone spectacularly, digging a massive cavity into the ceiling of the hallway. Shields hissed through his teeth. You idiot! Just then, a massive steel beam fell from the ceiling, thanks to the force of the rocket's explosion, and pinned the drone down. Shields took the opening to roll to where Claude was lying on the floor, and picked up the bazooka. He took aim and scored a direct hit on the drone's control tower. Nice! With a satisfying explosion, the drone's brain burst, spewing fire and steel in every direction. The husk of the now dead mechanical beast finally lost power and went limp. With an enormous exhale, Shields dropped the bazooka to his side. The other crewmen poked their heads out from cover in disbelief. Slowly their expressions turned from white terror to exhilaration. Captain! You did it! You saved us all! Captain! 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 Sorry, I don't have many voices. She'll suddenly realise that the crew chanting his name in the hallway may not be in his best interest. Anyways, what are you doing here with the fire crew? See? He looked around, now searching for the best way to beat a hasty exit. I have to get back to the bridge. Good work, fire crew C. Did you hear that? The captain said we did good work.
Of course he did, kid. We risk our necks every day to keep the ship safe. I'm gonna tell everyone in the mess hall about this.
Shields and Claude beat it, while the crewmen laughed amongst themselves. He looked back. Despite blowing his cover, he smiled in spite of himself. He had no regrets. T-minus 53 hours. I was reading that! Shields had enough of this nightmarish situation. He stood and emerged from a cargo crate, taking in a huge breath of fresh air. He had just spent the past 6 hours cooped up inside a small cargo crate with Claude. The ship had shook and jolted as it engaged in evasive maneuvers and took hits, until he felt as if he was going to suffocate against Claude's voluminous body. For what seemed like an eternity, he suffered indignity after indignity, while Claude seemed to thoroughly enjoy every moment of his suffering. Feeling thoroughly violated, he stepped out into the outside world, feeling like a man re-emerged into society after a long prison sentence. The ship had returned to condition yellow. For now, it appeared the battle had concluded. After checking that the situation was clear, he pulled Claude from the crate. Come on, the coast is clear. Let's sneak back to the hangar to meet up with Icari. The two of them wandered into the hangar, looking under the shadows of the rider bays again. They found Icari waiting for them beside the Phoenix maintenance bay. I'm back, and it looks like luck's on our side. You saw what happened, right? Chigara's just been admitted to the sick bay. It'll be a piece of cake to take her in while she's sleeping for the night. Shields remembered what Icari was talking about. During the battle, the Liberty's shoulder maneuvering valve had fractured, sending it into an uncontrollable spin. While Chigara wasn't injured, his past self had sent her to the sickbay to be on the safe side. The only problem is that Icari thinks I just saw all of this happening from the bridge, thanks to my prior explanation getting cut off by the battle. Alright, but I couldn't finish explaining the mission to you because of the interruption. The real situation is actually more complicated. I'm actually not the only Kyoto Shields in this universe. My old self is still acting as the captain of the ship right now, and he's convinced himself that Chigara is his most trusted partner. Honestly, if I were the captain right now, I would have already detained Chigara myself. But the reality is that I can't afford to blow my cover, or else the other Kyoto Shields will most likely throw me into the brig. Ah, by the way, there's another Claude Trillo in this universe too, tending to Chigara in the sickbay right now. What? I guess that makes sense. Yep. Isn't it obvious? My old self existing in this timeline as well. Piloting the Bianca and serving as the ship's loony doctor. She wouldn't just disappear because I time warped here. Oh, you make my head hurt here. You mean the captain who just commanded me in battle and the Claude I fought alongside with just a moment ago weren't you guys? That's the situation, yeah. This job keeps getting weirder and weirder. This might honestly be a new record on my bizarre as shit list. Now you understand why secrecy is key. We also have another problem. We can't just kidnap Chigara and expect the battle tomorrow to play out the same way as it did in my timeline. In fact, I haven't told you why Chigara enters the prototype's mindstream yet. Well, isn't it because she's actually a spy? No, I think Chigara isn't even aware herself that she will be used as a pawn in the prototype's plans. The Pact forces under Fontana's command scheduled to reinforce the combined fleet tomorrow actually has been sabotaged by the prototypes. There's a Trojan virus embedded deep in their ship's systems, which will allow the prototypes to hijack control of their ships using their hyper brainwaves. Chigara will enter the prototype's mindstream, attempting to disrupt their control over Fontana ships. However, during that time, the leader of the prototypes will embed herself into Chigara's mind, allowing her to assume control of Chigara during the award ceremony, even after she is defeated. I honestly don't know the details of how the prototype's mindstream work, but from what I've heard from Lynn, their bodies can be controlled by their leaders at any time, although the prototype being controlled can resist to a certain degree as well, with a strong enough force of will. The problem is that if Chigara doesn't enter the mindstream, then we'll all die tomorrow when the prototypes assume command of all Fontana ships. Unless... if we were somehow able to send an encrypted transmission to Fontana now, warning him of the Trojan, then he could potentially start devising a countermeasure right now. At the very least, he could pull his forces back so that the prototypes can't use his ships against him. There's an encrypted FTL communicator in my office. I could use that. Alright, capture Chigara so she doesn't enter the mindstream in about 14 hours. Send an encrypted FTL message to Fontana warning him about the virus. Avoid detection by the other kill shields. On top of all that, we've got to figure out a way to make sure nobody notices Chigara's gone missing until at least the battle begins. No doubt the other Kyo shields will launch a search as soon as he discovers that Chigara has vanished off the face of the ship. Yep. Oh boy, more choices. We can't, in a way, we can't exactly trust Lynn yet. So we're going to have to choose the top one. Alright. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to the sickbay and distract this time's Claude, while Icari sneaks in and wheels Chigara's medical trolley away. You two will take Chigara to the crew quarters 8, which is currently unoccupied, and wait until I arrive. I'll try to beat a hasty retreat as soon as I can. Once we've regrouped, Claude will use the floor access hatch to relocate Chigara to maintenance room D4, while Icari runs to the mess hall and calls the other Kyoto shields out on the comm. I'll then use that chance to sneak into my office and send Fontana the encrypted call. Did you get all that? Understood, Captain. Let's roll. Alright, good luck. Here we go. Meanwhile... oh my god, we have a sprite. Alright, the other Kyo Shield sat in his office, trying to mind the battle plans for tomorrow's battle. However, his thoughts couldn't help but wander to Chigara, who was currently resting in the sickbay. Perhaps he should pay her a visit sometime before the battle. His doorbell rang. Come in. Captain. Is something the matter, Ava? Ahem. I've come to report a truly strange anomaly on board the ship. Uh-oh. An anomaly? Of what sort? You're going to have a hard time believing this. But I heard rumours circulating amongst the crew that you were on deck 2 during the previous battle, and that you single-handedly took down a drone and saved the entire damage control team. What? I've heard some crazy rumours, but that one's new. During the battle, we were indeed struck by an experimental Pact weapon, which introduced a hunter drone within the ship. Security has examined the wreckage of the drone and have confirmed that it was Pact made. I have summarised the incident in the latest report on your desk. Ava eyed the large stack of unread report sitting beside him. Crap, haven't gotten to that one yet. Concerned by the rumours circulating amongst the crew and the findings of our security team, I took the liberty of examining the drone on security footage, and I found this. Uh-oh. No! Uh-oh. Does that mean I'm on a bad end? Already? Uh-oh. Ava handed him a holo containing a video. His jaws dropped when he saw its contents. It was him and Claude, or at least two people who looked identical to themselves, wandering about the ship. What in hell's name? Indeed, I was shocked beyond words as well when I discovered this revelation. It appears there are 2 intruders on board the ship who have impersonated you, as well as our acting medical officer. Their purpose appears unclear. Shield stood from his chair, his heart now pounding. It could be a prototype plot. Apprehend these 2 intruders immediately. Put security on high alert. Review all of our security logs in search of these doppelgangers. I want our Marines put on armed patrols throughout the ship, but they are to capture the intruders alive. Sir. Uh-oh. 52 hours before the Liberation Day massacre! 16 hours before Chigara enters the mindstream. Alright. Shields enter the sickbay. He had to distract this time's Claude long enough for his partner to nab Chigara out from under her nose. He grows to discover that Chigara was sleeping just 2 beds away from where Claude was working in her office. This was going to be harder than expected. But he had an idea. He pretended to walk over to Chigara and stand over her, like he was concerned for her health. As expected, old Claude sniffed out his presence, like a canine, and creeped up behind him.
Ooh-foo-foo!
She wrapped her arms around him from behind and put her face on his shoulder, tickling his ear with her pink, wavy hair. Ugh, this woman wears too much perfume.
Oh, Captain, I'm afraid Chigara's still sedated. You'll have to wait just a few more hours until she wakes up. I can understand why you'd want her back on her feet as soon as possible. The desperate look on the maiden's face as she sneaks into your quarters at the loneliest hours of the night for one last tryst before the final battle. Chigara doesn't know if she'll make it back. Just in case, I want to feel Captain inside before. I can imagine it all playing out like I'm watching a movie.
Okay, here's my chance. Shield slammed down as if dejected and let out a long sigh. I just don't know, Doctor.
Don't know what?
Well, I'm actually here for counselling. You're this ship's acting medical officer, right? So your duties also include looking after the mental health of the ship's crew, as well as their physical health.
Well, yes, that's certainly true.
I've been wanting to talk to you, Doctor. It's about Chigara, but I can't talk about it here, in front of her.
Of course. Let me just get into my office and pull the cover closed.
Hang on. She looks angry, in a way, or she's horny. Bit of both.
You can tell all Claude anything, Captain.
Claude practically pushed Shields into her office and drew a sliding wall closed, giving the both of them privacy. Yes, it worked.
Now, what's the nature of the counselling you need, Captain?
Well, it's just that things are moving so quickly. It's been just over a week since we kissed for the first time, and she's already talking about things like marriage and children. Oh God. I can't keep a straight face now. Right. Whenever she talks about how many babies she wants to have, I have to wonder, is this really the life I want for myself? I'm ashamed to even look at myself in the mirror. Doctor, I can't believe I'm having these doubts right now.
Oh, Captain, don't you worry about a thing. It's completely normal to have unexpressed doubts when your partner advances a relationship too quickly. In fact, it's only inevitable because of the enormous amount of stress you two are under right now. All she cares about is her bakery. I don't even know if I'm good at baking bread. I'm a starship captain, for crying out loud! Doc! I worked my arse off for this commission, but to just up and retire early for a bakery? But whenever she talks about the Ruddy Bakery, she has that dreamy look on her face, and I just end up going along with it every time. Where my input, Doc? Lately, I feel like I'm being railroaded down a certain path without any say in what I want. It's like all my choices have just up and vanished. Before this, I used to be a free man. I used to be able to make command decisions. I used to be able to rip up rule books. But right now, I just feel like I've been chained to the doghouse. Oh dear. Oh dear. After the battle, why don't you try talking to her about this, Captain? The root cause of your problems with Chigara is most likely the stress of the coming battle. Because you're both instinctively afraid of what may happen. Chigara may be rushing things ahead of what she may normally be comfortable with as well. Alright, Doc, I'll try that. Claude leaned in with a gentle smile and rubbed Shields' back. You have a lot on your shoulders, Captain. But don't forget, if things don't work out with Chigara, there's always a lovely doctor in your sickbay willing to alleviate your worries. Tee-hee-hee. Casually hitting on your mentally distressed patient, Doc. You're absolutely the worst. Anyways, that should have been enough time for the distraction. I better beat a hasty exit out of here. Just as Shields was about to call it quits, he spotted a strange-looking hollow next to him on Claude's shelf. All of the hollows on board the ship were now stranded issue Alliance stock. However, this hollow clearly looked to be of a different make. Now, what do we have here? For some reason, I have a feeling there's something important on that hollow. Maybe it's related to the memories I've temporarily lost. But do I risk blowing my cover by trying to steal it? Another choice? Ugh. How many choices? There's going to be a lot of different endings. Oh my god. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, let's steal it. The hollow could contain something vital to restoring the rest of my memories. I've got to get my hands on it. Shield suddenly leaned forward and buried his face into her bosom. Alright, Doctor. Thanks for the chat. I feel a lot better now. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Oh, Captain! Claude smiled ear to ear as she took the opening to stroke his hair. Her attention was thoroughly diverted as Shields reached backwards with one hand and swiped a hollow off the desk. He hid the hollow behind him as he stood. I should head back to work. I'll, see you around? Any time, Captain. Let me open the cover. No need. Looks like you have a lot of work to do in your office. Shields opened the sliding door himself and left Claude in her office, closing the door behind him. As he walked out, he confirmed that their operation was a success. He marched out of the sickbay, a mischievous grin plastered all of his face. As he walked to the crew quarters 8, Shields activated the hollow and searched through its contents. Now, let's see what our past doctor has been up to. His blood went cold when he saw what was inside. From what he could deduce, there were hundreds of message logs inside the hollow containing Claude's reports on what was occurring on board the Sunrider, ever since she first came aboard, as well as detailed instructions from the prototypes. And a medical report proving that beyond the shadow of a doubt that Chigara was indeed a prototype. Suddenly, more memories played back in Shields' head. I have come to suspect there is a great deal of information that our chief medical officer is hiding. What do you mean? I believe Claude was actually the one who has been relaying our movements to the prototypes. Shit, I remember now. Claude's been working for the prototypes all along. He searched through the remaining data inside the hollow. Finally, he came upon a file which only contained a cryptic message. The future can only be saved by destroying everything. Well, that sounds ominous. But what exactly does it mean? I have to hurry back to the future Claude and confront her about this. With that, he quickened his pace to crew quarter 8. Shields knocked on the ostensibly unoccupied crew quarters, but the coast was clear. He tapped on the intercom and whispered, "It's me, open up." The door opened and Shields slipped inside. Sup, ladies? You're back. As you can see, the plan went exactly as planned. He saw Chigara tied up to a chair, still unconscious from sedation. Despite successfully kidnapping Chigara, Shields had no cause to celebrate. Doc, you're gonna have to explain yourself. He pulled out the hollow. I found this in your old self's office. Hey, I know what that is. It's an off-market hollow that's popular in
Denarai space. Denarai? Maybe? You've been communicating with the prototypes all this time, haven't you? There's messages on this holo giving away all our movements to the enemy, and even a medical report which you wrote, completely invalidating the other reports you gave us that Chigara was not a prototype. Icari put her hand on her sidearm. So you were a spy all along too then?
It's all true. I was aligned with the prototypes during this time frame. But that was me in the past. Poor Claude's turned a new leaf now. I'm fighting for the good guys.
Why were you working for the prototypes during this time period?
A simple alignment of interests, that's all. I sought to rally the galaxy around you, just like the prototypes. But after the Liberation Day massacre occurred, I realized our interests diverged. That's when I left them and took matters into my own hands.
The prototypes wanted what?
Yes, they sought to make you the leader of humanity, but to control you as a puppet, so that they would rule in your stead. But let's just say that plan never quite panned out, due to the division within the prototypes themselves.
That's quite a lot to take in.
I was fine with helping the prototypes accomplish that, but then the massacre happened.
Ultimately, you're not working for the prototypes right now then. That doesn't get you off the hook yet. I also found this inside the holo. She'll open the final file and showed it to Claude. The future can only be saved by destroying everything. What does this mean?
Looks like you finally discovered the hard part of this mission. It's pretty complicated to explain, but the skinny of it is, basically, if we were to succeed in this mission and thwart the Liberation Day massacre, both this universe and the past universe, where we came from, will collapse and cease to exist. And it turns out, the space-time continuum's really sensitive to time paradoxes, and resolves them quite forcefully.
Collapse? You mean we'll all die anyways even if we win? Then what the hell's the point of any of this?
Oh, you're thinking like a human. No, you will simply be wiped from existence. Dying is a natural phenomena, which must inevitably happen to all life forms, but is an entirely different concept from never existing at all. You travelled here from a future in which the Liberation Day massacre occurred in order to prevent it. But if you succeed in your mission, the Kyoto Shields who travelled back in time would cease to exist, as the massacre now never takes place. So then, who would be the man who stopped the massacre? A true logical conundrum. In other words, a time paradox.
So, then, is the future really impossible to change?
The future can be changed. That's why I brought you here. At the end of this journey, you must make a choice. Either you stop the Liberation Day massacre from occurring, and avert the tragedy which befalls upon everyone, and destroy this universe and the universe you came from, and replace them with the new universe you create with your decision. Or you let the massacre occur, accept the tragedy, then the universe will remain untouched and connect with your timeline. The universe you know will continue to exist for better or worse.
You're telling me, if I go through with this, everyone I know will vanish from the face of the universe, but then a new universe with copies of those same people will be created?
That's the gist of it, yes. And that is the reason why I brought you here. The key here is that the law of causality does everything in its power to resolve time paradoxes, and it does that by deleting the universe where the paradox occurs, and then creating a new universe which can then logically continue to exist from that point on. In this case, you and everyone in this universe, as well as everyone in the universe where the massacre occurred, will be wiped from existence, thus eliminating the time paradox. But then a new universe, where the massacre never occurred, would be born, and everyone would still exist in that universe, completely oblivious to the fact a massacre even occurred, or that there was a desperate mission to prevent it.
Then we can still save everyone by creating a new universe where the massacre isn't prevented, but simply never existed at all?
Now you're understanding how this all works, Captain. Teehee! This time travel's still hard to understand. But if this mission's a success, we'll have to destroy the universe where the massacre occurs and head down a different universe where the massacre simply never existed at all. Basically, in this circumstance, I intentionally sought to create a time paradox in order to manipulate the law of casualty into destroying the universe you don't want and into creating the one you do want. Well, it was pretty drastic, but it's still not like there's anyone out there who can stop me, so teehee. It's pretty convenient. This little quirk that the law of casualty has, I've been using it to create and destroy universes for, I forget. I'm immortal. Who knows how long I've been doing this? Anyways, now that your choices have been laid out in front of you, I want to watch you choose Kyoto Shield's Hero of the Galaxy. That's the entire reason why I brought you here. All of this is so I can watch you more. I want to watch you run around fighting desperately against impossible odds. I want to see the tears in your eyes when you fail, the euphoria coursing through your veins when you're victorious, the bigger stakes, the more tortured your dilemmas, the mightier your enemies, the more I want to see you fight, because it brings me so much pleasure. Seeing you in action.
Claude's entire body flushed bright red as she squirmed her legs. Oh no!
I think I might have come a little.
Claude! You bastard! She's toying with me, just like always. Come to think of it, was there ever a moment when she wasn't playing with me, like a fiddle during the whole time I've known her? Uh-oh. Ooh. I'm not gonna choose the top one. No, bottom one.
Tee-hee-hee. Good call, Captain. I knew I can count on you. It's not too bad. You have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to change the future. Isn't Claude such a generous god? Tee-hee-hee. But before you get excited with the knowledge that you have a deity on your side, you should now understand why I can't use my powers willy-nilly. It'd be a pain if I were to accidentally wipe out a universe or two from existence by causing an unintended time paradox myself. Every use of my power must be carefully planned in advance, so that they bring about circumstances I want. The results, otherwise, would not be pretty.
So basically, I can't count on her to pull me out of the fire using her powers anymore. Alright. Nothing productive is going to come out of fighting amongst each other. Whatever it is that we're going to do from now, we have to work together to accomplish it. Wait. Oh, Chigara. As if to make matters worse, Chigara began to stir in her sleep. She was sharply inhaled in concern. Shit.
Doc? How much longer is Chigara going to be sedated for? You know, every single time she says Aari, it reminds me of, what was her name? From, High School DxD. I can't remember her name. Nah, never mind. Aari. Still another 4 hours. With a full dosage, Chigara's going to be sound asleep for a full 8 hours.
Suddenly Claude froze.
Teehee. Never mind.
Doctor, what do you mean, never mind?
I forgot that in this timeline, I actually gave Chigara a half dosage of sleep pills, so that she would wake up early enough to consummate her love for her captain the night before the final battle.
Oh, yes. Well, the funny thing is, at least Asuka won't go crazy now. She just nearly collapsed at Claude's mistake. What do you mean you forgot? I thought you were supposed to be a god!
Well, when you've lived for as long as I have, there's just so much to remember. How could I be expected to recall such a tiny little detail like that?
Then how much longer do we actually have until Chigara wakes up?
Maybe until about now?
As if on cue, Chigara sleepily opened her eyes.
What's going on, Captain?
Oh god, I can't remember how I did her voice.
What's going on, Captain? Why am I tied up to this chair? Captain! And the doctor! And Icari!
Chigara's eyes darted around the room while she struggled against the ropes in a panic. Shit. For now, I've got to calm Chigara down. Chigara, don't worry, I'm here. I'll protect you. All of a sudden, Shields felt at a loss. His usual collective demeanor fell apart. Random words merely leaked from his mouth as he spoke to Chigara in a daze. Chigara. Oh, yes. He had felt her die in his very arms. When her spark left her body, a demon had awakened in him. A demon willing to burn the entire galaxy in order to avenge her. Despite being a spy, despite betraying him, despite murdering countless Alliance leaders, Shields had loved her with his entire heart. And that's exactly how the Shields in this universe feels about her. Chigara, calm down and listen to me. Shields knelt down in front of her. Despite waking up tied up to a chair, the sight of her lover's face managed to calm her fears.
What is it, Captain? I admit, this is quite a strange way of waking up after a doctor's visit. But you wouldn't do anything bad to Chigara, would you? I trust you.
I'm going to tell you something important, but no matter what happens, I'll protect you, because this time, I'm going to save everyone, including you, Chigara. Alright, here I go. The truth is, you're... Oh dear. Of course. Shields could never finish his sentence. As exactly at that moment, the gate to the crew quarters exploded into smithereens, momentarily blinding everyone inside. Oh my god, the SWAT team has arrived! In a flash, Marines piled into the room. By the time Shields had recovered his vision, he was completely surrounded by a squad of armed troops pointing their rifles at him. Shit! He slowly raised his hands over his head. In front of him, Icari did the same. Wait a minute. He looked around in confusion. Claude had somehow vanished from the room. Did she use her powers to escape? Before he could produce another thought, the Marines grabbed onto him and pushed him out into the hallway. 50 hours before the Liberation Day massacre. 14 hours until Chigara goes into the mind stream. Ooh. Things are getting hot. Oh, this one doesn't skip apparently. Alright, I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Delpha. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Thank you again, and goodbye.